We get out, Puff pull out first. We pull out behind him. He blow past the light.
We follow Puff out the door first, and he blows past the light. It appears that some fiery revelations are about to happen, and they might provide further insight into Puff. Diddy's questionable behavior and his part in the huge shooting Lil, C.A. rapper and close friend of the demised rap legend, was not just a bystander in this tragedy, and now he seems to be giving us more details on why this case remains unsolved for almost 3 decades, the tragic night that silenced the rap legend Christopher Wallace, known to the world as the notorious B.I.G, or Biggie Smalls. Lil C.E. was one of the few witnesses of the events, and apparently he's now coming with previously unheard debt. Ales of Puffy's crazy behavior that may just expose his involvement in this crime say nothing didn't yell nothing. Just and by that time Puff had his truck had came back around. As you know, Diddy's car was ahead of the truck, where Biggie and Lil C were driving, and when the vehicles reached the traffic light, Diddy's driver kept on going, while Biggie's car was forced to stop, and that decision cost the rap legend his life now. It may look like just a mere coincidence, but in fact, as Lil C's is saying it, C seemed like Puff had it all planned, and it's not just him who thinks that the entire operation was meticulously crafted according to Jean Deal, a member of the Puff security crew in the 1990S. The drive-by shooting appears to be the official version of events, but everyone who was present that fateful night undoubtedly has a different version of events. He claimed that the mysterious figure responsible for the Biggie shooting was hiding in the shadows, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. The stories they tell are untrue. There was no drive-by car parked at the corner. It was evident that there was something more sinister going on when Ganal asserted that everyone was merely fabricating a web of lies to hide the true criminal. It seemed as though someone was determined to bring the king of rap to justice, and with the help of new revelations, we might soon identify the guilty party before we depart. There is the so-called official version of how Biggie died, but many insiders and witnesses, including Gene and Deal participants, say that it does not accurately depict the circumstances surrounding his death. As he stated in his interview, "It just hurts because they lied too much. Andre Harrell Housepuff told me I didn't have to go." A lot of that stuff belies the way they put it together. 'Cause they listening to these white boys who wasn't even there. Now you might be wondering, what's the real tea? Well, here's the ultimate thought that Lil C seems to share with the rest of the hip-hop community. Did he trying to silence Biggie? And he wishes he could how come forward with his revelations earlier, 'cause I was just stressed man crying. Scared nervous now, most people agree that Biggie was too talented to dance to Didy's tune for the rest. Tea of his life, and apparently using his growing connections in the rap world, he began negotiating better deals with other labels, and that, according to many people, make his boss Puffy extremely jealous. He didn't want to share his piggy bank with anyone else and chose to silence his own artist and in fact, Biggie had plans to leave Bad Boy Records just months before his untimely demise. He had his sights set on greener pastures. He was all set to spread his wings and launch his own record label, leaving G Bad Boy in the dust. As soon as he met his contractual obligations, Big was showing me a contract, cuz I was saying the big he big was like Eugene. I like you. I would take you with me, bro. And don't be fooled by those flashy photos of Puffy and Biggie. It was all a facade according to the inside scoop. They were never the BFS they pretended to be. Even Biggie's mom felt in her heart that Diddy was not a friend for her son. In her memoir, she wrote, "I believe Sean loved my son after he was shot. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust John." Apparently, Biggie also realized how he got jerked around, just like all the other artists on Bad Boy. But the twist was that he got set up on his way out, and guess what? Quite quickly after making that decision, he lost his life. Now, many people don't say it's some kind of coincidence. As one person commented, "I've never heard Puffy state that he was going to find Biggie shooter throughout the years. I see why now." And another user added, "Fake friend set up at Iggy. He had to play it this way to make it look like Coast's East and West Coast revenge was the perfect cover for this story." But it gets even more interesting when you realize that Diddy made the reckless decision to drive his crew, including Biggie, all the way to Los Angeles, directly into enemy territory. That night, He was supposed to go to London, but I let him talk me out of it and instead decided to stay in Los Angeles. Things took a sinister turn shortly after the East Coast crew left the Vibe Awards after party. So picture this. 3 cars were waiting for them outside. Diddy led the way in an SUV, and Biggie and his crew Diddy's car rushed through a yellow light like there was no tomorrow, leaving Biggie and the security car at the red light. It was at that moment that a white Toyota Land Cruiser made a grand entrance, squeezing itself right between the 2 cars, and the Chevrolet MPP pulled up alongside Biggie and, before you know, a car just rolled up. Start popping in the car didn't say nothing, didn't yell nothing, just and as the entire crew watched in shock, disbelief, and horror at the rap legend slowly losing his life, you may now wonder why Lil CE suddenly came forward with his revelation so many years later. So it's time to delve deeper into the bond between Lil and Biggie Smalls, a friendship that started in the gritty neighborhoods of Brooklyn, New York. These 2 young men, born into the turbulence of the 80s, had to navigate their way through poverty, crime, and adversity. Their backgrounds may have been different, but as Lil C said in his interview, their connection was nothing short of remarkable. He knew what my heart was, and out of all the little young guys, I was the one that probably was reachable. Talking wise, CE and Biggie quickly forged a bond that transcended the typical definitions of friendship. It became more of a brotherhood, and you can see that the sudden demise of his friend impacted Lil C's way too much. As he shared in his interview, the loss of his friend shocked him to the core that he poured his emotions into his art. I really started rapping after Biggie passed, when I had to write my album. In them times before that, Biggie was writing the raps for me. So you can see, guys, why Lil CE wants this case to be solved. I don't know why people always get the story twisted. And if people ever see me tell the story, I've told it the same way over 100 times. His friend deserves peace, and his family and friends have been thirsty for justice, while the truth was covered in shadows for far too long. It's time to expose the demons that are guilty of this horrible crime. Biggie's death appeared to be the culmination of a bitter and tragic rivalry between the West Coast and East Coast hip-hop scenes. And while many were quick to blame the West Coast because everything occurred there is undoubtedly more to this story. In fact, Diddy may have planned for both Post and Biggie's fatal shootings in order to use his bad boy label to achieve unprecedented success. Many of the people who comment on this lack knowledge of the industry, so it will serve as a lesson. Never in his life C expected that Diddy would go down so low as to eliminate his own artist to profit on his name and legacy. However it happened, Biggie's passing away was a devastating blow to Lil CE, robbing him not only of a friend and mentor, but also leaving a void in the rap world that could never be filled no matter what we was going through. We ain't wish that on nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely not, no matter what was going on in the aftermath of his friend's passing. C faced the daunting task of carrying on his friend's legacy. He continued to make music and remained active in the hip-hop scene, but the absence of Biggie cast a long shadow over his journey. He can't seem to get over this loss and wants the culprit behind his friend's demise to be punished. And if you check the comments on social media, he's not alone in this, as one person commented, "I don't see how he slept for so long. Diddy got so much blood on his hands," and another user added, "The evidence is slowly but set yearly coming for both Biggie's and Tupac shooting. All fingers are pointing straight to Diddy, his end in the rap game, and as a free celebrity is near. Well, this mystery will no longer remain hidden. More witnesses come forward to speak against Diddy. And what to think about this, guys? Is Diddy truly behind the shooting of his own artist, and he karma ever find his door? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check my other videos. Well, that's it for now.